extrinsic factors force outside the body.
Here is an example of an extrinsic factor of the weather. Daisy and Katie are running, however Katie has no water, but Daisy does. This is important because due to it being a hot day, making sure we keep our bodies hydrated so we are able to continue to train.
This is another example of an extrinsic factor of bad coaching.
Do 10 star jumps. Faster. 10 press-ups.
This is bad coaching because even though Holly has a bad leg, the coach hasn't taken in consideration of her fitness levels, obviously the injury, her age and ability, and is still making her do the exercises. This is an example of an intrinsic factor of no risk assessment that has been done. Holly has slipped over on the water, and obviously this can cause a bad injury.
This is an extrinsic example of poor footwear in the environment we are in. This is the correct footwear for the environment we are in.
This is an example of an intrinsic factor of nutrition. An intrinsic factor is a force within the body. Ted will decide whether or not he wants to eat the apple or the tortilla chips before training. As you can see, Ted has picked the tortilla chips, and this will not help him enhance his energy levels or improve his performance throughout his training.
This is an example of an intrinsic factor, as the coach hasn't taken in consideration that Ted should warm up before playing, and now he has pulled a hamstring. Here is another example of an intrinsic factor. This is when someone's sleeping. This shows that a lack of sleep can make someone have no energy to be able to train.
This is an intrinsic factor of making sure you warm up before you train. As you can see, Holly hasn't warmed up and has pulled her hamstring because of this. Doing safety checks are really important because it helps minimise injuries to the players. For example, as we can see, Katie is checking to make sure there is no sharp objects like glass or cigarettes that can cause cuts to the player if they fall over, and also to make sure the field isn't wet so no players fall over and injure themselves unnecessarily.
Rules of the game are really important for players to follow because if they don't, it can cause serious injury and harm, hence why they're not to do it. For example, a high tackle in rugby can cause a severe injury to the back or a broken neck. Removing dangerous articles is important because it's for health and safety and they can cause injury to you and other players if not removed.
Wearing protective equipment is really important for contact sports because if it's not being worn, it can cause serious injury and harm to the muscles and bones, and it could cause time out of training for the players. For example, Katie is wearing a shin guard when playing cricket. This will help her keep her leg protected.
A way of preventing injury to the body is by doing strengthening training. This is really important because it will help build up and strengthen the joints, muscles, tendons and ligaments so the body can cope with more intense activity.
How does having up-to-date knowledge of the sport and performer affect the player's safety?
Okay, so you obviously need to be aware of the pitch and the court and the surface and where they're playing and whether it's fit for purpose for that particular day. Obviously having good coaching knowledge of various skills that they take part in their sport is effective because you can avoid injuries, so you can't make the session too hard or too easy or whatever because that could lead to an injury.
How does proper qualifications affect the performer?
Yep, that's crucial because obviously when you go on the coaching course, they're going to teach you about health and safety, safeguarding, to obviously maximise the safety of your participants. And then obviously you can do the different levels of coaching, so you can start with your level 1, level 2, work your way up. So you can do good coaching, but you can also make sure that it's safe and fun.
How does the coaching style affect the performer involving their age, ability and fitness?
Yeah, so performers learn in different ways and you need to adapt your coaching to suit the needs of the performers. So you differentiate your lesson, so you're meeting all the needs within that particular lesson. And then obviously by doing that, you're not setting it too hard maybe for the not so able performers, and then you risk injury if they were doing stuff that was too difficult for them.
Why is having good communication skills important to the performer?
Yeah, that is crucial in terms of your feedback to your performers, because you give them feedback and it improves their technique, improves their ability. You need to be positive with that. If you're too negative with them, then they're not going to enjoy your session and they're not going to develop. And obviously feedback in terms of health and safety is crucial as well. If you see anything dangerous occurring, then you need to very quickly let that performer know to avoid injury.
Why is it important to complete risk assessments before training sessions and matches?
Yeah, because as a coach, you're responsible, you're liable, so you could well be sued. You could lead your performance to get injured because you didn't do your due diligence beforehand and check the facility. So you need to make sure that it is fit for purpose, it's safe. For example, there's no water on the court or glass on the pitch or whatever. So you're happy and it's safe, and then you can run an effective session.
Why is having proper equipment checks important to the safety of the performer?
Yeah, so as well as the actual facility, the equipment that you use needs to be fit for purpose. So, if you're using rackets and the grips are slippy, that racket could well slip out of their hand, hit someone else and cause some damage. So, yeah, you can get in trouble as the coach. So you need to make sure all equipment is fit for purpose and safe.